What's going on, guys? I'm not gonna start it like that. I gotta quit starting videos like that. It's too cheesy. If you clicked on this video, you know why you're here. I'm building an exhaust. I hadn't done this in a while. The last exhaust I made was for the wagon. I actually made one for Justin too, and it's no secret that I'm not a master welder with my setup yet. I'm still working out some kinks, and plus I've had some downtime with it because I really didn't do anything over the summer. I've got some exhaust. So basically what I'm going to do is, since I have a little bit of free time, this is the last weekend before the big rallycross in Clinton, and then I have the rallycross nationals, the national championship up in Iowa. So I don't really have anything to do to the Fiesta except for just some little preventative maintenance stuff before the trip. It's a little bit because it's weight savings, it's a lot of it because it makes a lot of awesome noises and gargles and pops. So basically what I'm going to do is, the objective here is to replace the muffler of my Mountune exhaust with just a straight pipe that comes out the back that has a hanger and all that stuff. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. I'm not an expert welder by any stretch of the imagination, and you'll see that when I'm welding, but the thing is I can make it strong with the flux core I've got, and that's what I'm going to be doing because I really didn't feel like getting the gas set up today. The last exhaust I built for Justin, it doesn't look great. It's probably one of the nastiest welds I've ever made because there's about that thick a gap that I had to fill with the flux core, so it really didn't turn out great looking, but it's been strong. He's raced on it I don't know how many times. I want to say it's probably got between 10 and 15,000 miles on it without breaking off, so it's working. We'll see. I'm going to do the same for, and since it's just a race exhaust, it'll only be used during races. I'm not really worried about it looking supremely good. I'm not worried about it lasting forever. I just need it to make some rad gargling popping noises, which you'll get plenty of that here in a little bit once I get it put on. As you can see, I went ahead and pulled the muffler back exhaust off, and it looks good. It performs well, but it's a bit, like I said, it's a bit quiet. It makes some good gurgles, makes good pops, but this is gonna make a lot more. So what I'm gonna do is I ordered this JU pipe from Summit. It's only like 60 bucks, something like that, but it's all 2.5 inch. So what I need to do basically is you can see there the big bend. That's really what I got to replicate. As the axle beam comes down there, the rear torsion beam, whatever you want to call it, and that goes up over it, and you actually see it's been beating the crap out of it at rally. It's been hitting the top of the unibody there. So it's whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Basically, I'm going to have to replicate that bend. I think I'm going to be able to use that part there and come up over it and connect it to the end piece down here. I've got it just a 2.5 to 2.5 joint there, and I'll weld it on one end and just probably slot it here on this end. That way I can put it over there, put the clamp on there, and it'll be good to go. And out the back, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I like it pretty much the same curvature, and you can see the U right there. I want to try to take that U as deep as I can, so I'll probably end up cutting it right about there, so I have a little bit to work with. I'll see what end I want to use, because I don't want to use the part where it starts coming back around to the U, but I want to make sure that I don't run short. It's going to be kind of a challenge to get that, because that's such a long flow that this U is going to be kind of hard to keep up with it. You can kind of see it there. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut that and see what we get. It sits there, and I pull it back up with the exhaust bracket in the back. It'll pull it taut and have plenty of clearance over the torsion bar here. I think that'll work. I just want to make sure. I may have to notch my gap here on this little straight that I cut, and that way that'll set in there just a little bit better, because there's still a little bit of a gap right here on the bottom half, and I really don't have to fill that up with weld. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notch the sides here of the straight, slide that back in there, and then I can put my coupler here that goes my 2.5, and that should be good for that. And the plan on the back side is when this is up right about here, you see it's got still a pretty good angle, and it'll go out the back, out the notch there. And I've got an exhaust hanger right here. You can see there I got the Mountune exhaust hanger. And I'll use that to pull the exhaust up and shoot it out the back here and maybe dump down or maybe straight out. I hadn't decided yet, but that's the plan so far. Yeah, it's not a perfect weld by any means. On my test piece here, that's 2.5 inches, and you can see it's nice and round like the exhaust actually is. It fits in there nice and snug, and I'll be able to get the clamp over that and clamp that to it. So, that'll work. Yeah, I know it looks awful, whatever. I'm not going anywhere. See what kind of length I want to go, and see how I want it to come out the back and where I want it to come out the back, and also putting an exhaust hanger on here so it'll keep it up and off the torsion bar. So what I went ahead and did was I made sure this is the right length and actually kind of cut it at a flat and left a little lip there because I'm going to need something to grab a hold of when I weld those two pieces together. And I got the stainless end. I left the finished end to go out the back so it looks nice and pretty, if that's the route I ended up going with. I cut it to length so it's going to sit just right outside the bumper. It'll sit pretty much flush with the bumper. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to butt those up against each other and get those tacked up. And then once those are tacked up, I'm going to get the exhaust hanger I've got hanging under the car, and I'm going to locate it and find a good spot to where it'll pull everything in together. That way it kind of lines up where I want it to. Probably need to go ahead and make 2 hangers if I can. We'll see how that all goes, but for right now I'm going to go ahead and tack this up and then get my exhaust hanger located and kind of tucked up. The tricky part about exhaust hangers I learned in the wagon is the angle at what they sit in, because if you butt it up against there, it's going to drop. If you hold it up underneath, it gives a little more strength, and I can actually I can round the rod to hold the exhaust instead of just being welded to the side and wait all that vibration and rattling on the weld itself. That way it gives the rod a little bit of support too. So let me get this tacked up, and then we'll test fit the exhaust and see kind of what it looks like. So that's the exhaust for now. It's not completely tacked up yet. There's still a pretty big hole at the bottom end of it. I have the exhaust hanger on there. Looks like it's mostly secure. The tack welds on there pretty well. I'll go ahead and give it a test fire up, just make sure it doesn't rattle, but yeah, it sticks out pretty far, so I'm probably going to chop off some of that end. I meant to leave that nice finished end on the end, but I can clean that up a little bit to make it look good. I was just hoping to get away with it. You can tell it's not quite, it doesn't stick out that far, but it's, if I'm making it, I'm going to make it a little more clean than that. So it didn't seem to rattle too bad. Like I said, I'll probably go ahead and finish welding up everything and probably lop it off. I'm going to fortify it. I may add an extra exhaust hanger on there too. Depends on, I'll do a test run with it and see how it goes. I'll go ahead and pull it back off, unbolt everything, finish welding everything, and then on the next step. Hopefully next step's more braaaaaps. Alrighty, test drive time. Time to see how this, see if this new exhaust bothers the neighbors. Oh man, this thing rips now. If you drive it normally, not bad at all. It makes all the proper turbo noises now. There we go. That's just ridiculous. Alright, time to rip. love that second roll in where it squeals the tires like that. As soon as the boost hits, just lights the tires up. Well, I'm happy with it. I think it's gonna be good. No rattles, no nothing like that. It'll be good for a race day, hopefully. I haven't really given a real shakedown test yet, but preliminary drive around and ripping on a little bit, it's been great. So I'm gonna go pull in, make sure it's all good, and probably leave it on for a day or two, just why not? That was a nice pop. Alright, back to the garage, guys. So what I'll do is I'll kind of start from the outside and we'll go in. As you can see, I got it nice and closer at least. It's not sticking out quite as bad as it was, so I like it. It looks a little bit better, a little more exhausty. Not so, it's pretty dead even down the hole where I wanted it. Got a good gap there so it won't rattle or won't burn that anymore. Won't melt it. What I did here is you can see I just kind of hooked the exhaust hanger down to support it so it won't be so bad. It's really hot from driving around, but yeah, it just shoots straight out there after the bend. See the exhaust hanger, I just used that one. I didn't use that one just because I didn't really need to. If you wanted to do that, you could run a hanger from here to there to that exhaust hanger for some more support, but for right now it's doing pretty well. The thing you got to remember is when you're orienting these clamps, make sure that they're in the right position, because with these kind of slip joint exhaust, that's really important about how they line up at the back end, which is something you don't really realize. This is the first slip-on exhaust that I've had in a long time. The S2000 had a straight up bolt-on exhaust. So every time you bolted it up, it was ideally in the right spot. But it doesn't rattle against this. It's got plenty of clearance up over the torsion bar and away from the body. So that's also good. Yeah, the welds, of course, not great looking, but who cares? They're gonna last. I think we're good to go. And like I said, this will only be for race days, so I won't run around with this all the time. I'm going to run with it for a day or two just to kind of give it a test run, make sure everything's okay. I would like to buy some better exhaust clamps for it, because having to take that one on and off is going to be kind of taxing on that, and I don't want to wear it out too fast. Besides that, it's doing pretty well. It's got a couple dings in it from just rally stuff, but yeah. Oh yeah, my garage sale brake line and fuel line protectors are still working well. That chloroplast, yeah, that's what it's called. Still doing well after a couple events. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So to give some background to what I did and why I did it, it'll save quite a bit of weight. As you can see, what I have on the car is a Mountune exhaust, and this thing it's pretty heavy. That's probably 50 or nah, it can't be that heavy. It's probably, I don't know, it's on the side of 50 pounds probably. It's heavier than I gave it credit for. That's definitely the meat of the heft of the exhaust on the Mountune. But what I want to do is I just wanted to be able to replace that for race days. Save me a little weight on the back end. It's still legal for what I'm in my class because it still exits the rear behind the driver. The rest of the exhaust is all based on the Mountune exhaust. So I mean, the downpipe is still stock. Everything else is upstream is stock besides the cat pack pipe. So basically, it's a straight pipe all the way back from the downpipe at this point. But that's gonna do it for tonight, guys. I'm gonna wrap up, clean up, go eat, and until next time, peace.